In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. I am Muhammad Hassan Ilyas and I am delighted to be here with you. Dear viewers, is God, and one of course seeks refuge from such a view, a lover of torment? Does he desire injustice? Why do we see inequalities in the world? We see so much injustice in the world. There are so many forms of coercions that are evident, people suffering in the grind of poverty, and that is how they depart from this world. And on the other hand, we see markets of luxury thriving. We began this journey with Ghamidi Sahab to understand what religion says. How should we comprehend God's entire scheme? What criticisms does atheism have regarding a religious view of life? We bring these questions to you for discussion. Let us continue this series. As usual, Javed Ahmed Ghamidi Sahab is here with us. Peace be upon you, Ghamidi Sahab.
Peace be upon you.
Thank you very much for your time, Ghamidi Sahab. Ghamidi Sahab, when a person who lives in this society contemplates the universe, there are some questions that arise before him. And when we look at the concept of God that religion presents, even there some question marks emerge. Our effort is to provide Muslim youth with the intellectual and reasoning strength through this platform so they can consciously reconnect with their faith. Ghamidi Sahab, if one looks around this universe, it becomes clear that humans have been given free will. There is a principle of trial at work, and God will hold them accountable. He does not intervene in the world at all times, but animals have no will, no choice, no intellect, no consciousness, no moral sense, and no aesthetic sense. They have been given some instincts. However, in the world, we see cruelty towards animals. People do it, and animals cannot do anything about it. Even among themselves, animals tear each other apart. Such a horrific picture emerges of these creatures who have no consciousness. Why are they subjected to this torment?
There are two perspectives to view this issue. One is to see it in the light of the moral sense that has been given to you and me. What have I, you, and all of humanity accepted? We have accepted that it is the decree of nature that many living beings have been created for our sustenance. Therefore, this is not just an issue concerning animals. We also slaughter millions of animals. We eat their meat. Just consider the scale at which poultry is produced. Just look at the condition of the farms they are produced in. How are they converted into meat? And then they become a source of pleasure for our palate. Humans have never raised any moral questions about this. Those who did raise such questions faced contradictions themselves, because in this world, the environment we have been given does not allow us to adopt the same attitude towards the world as we do towards ourselves. Regarding humans, my moral understanding dictates that no action can be taken against their life, property, or worship. Even the largest nations of the world, their legal systems, if you look closely, fundamentally uphold this principle. It is considered a moral principle that no action can be taken against human life. But on a large scale, animals are tamed, animals are raised, animals are used for work. Not just animals. There is another aspect. That is, anything that can cause me pain is unhesitatingly eliminated.
Insects are caught daily.
Flies in the house are not allowed to live. There are many types of pests that entire areas are cleared of. What happens in the forests? Then look beyond that. If we consider God's statements, even inanimate objects possess a form of consciousness. The Quran has warned that when you speak of a stone, you consider it lifeless. But its prayer and glorification are known to its creator. So prayer and glorification require a level of consciousness. This means that if I need to break a rock, clear the land, or remove debris, I do so. Even if you do not consider inanimate objects, trees and plants are considered to have a level of life. What do we do to maintain our gardens and arrange pathways? This means that my moral understanding has accepted this decree of nature. No moral objection is raised against it. If I trim my garden hedge in the morning and cut the tops of millions of blades of grass for aesthetic purposes, no one will come to arrest me. No case will be filed against me. Why not? Because my moral understanding dictates this. So when humans object to things in the world, what is the basis? Clearly, the basis is the verdict of my moral understanding. That is, the consciousness given to me, my understanding, my knowledge, where will it start? Clearly, from my moral understanding, from my existential understanding, from my aesthetic sense. These are the distinctions. That is, either the thing will not fall within my understanding, or the moral consciousness given to me will reject it, or I will feel disgust and avoid it. There, my aesthetic sense decides, consider these three aspects. The demands of these three lead to exceptions everywhere in human behavior. This decision has been accepted. That is, we do with animals what a lion or a wolf does with a deer. We do the same. That is, the animals we have domesticated in thousands, in millions. Just look at the statistics of what happens in the world's slaughterhouses.
Absolutely.
Morally, no objection is raised against this. Everyone is engaged in it. It has been accepted according to moral principles. One aspect is this. The other aspect is why, overall, has the Creator decided to adopt this method for meat. That is, meat became my sustenance. It has been made clear that this entire world, this entire universe is for you. This is the Quran's declaration. He has subjected to you whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. So, it is clear that I must break stones, extract minerals, cut plants, prune trees, build roads, or establish settlements, which may require uprooting hundreds of trees along the way. Similarly, I have to eat meat. It is my sustenance. For this, I will raise animals, venture into forests, and hunt deer. All of this will happen, and no objections are raised against it. It is morally accepted.
Absolutely.
Therefore, this aspect is set aside. The overall scheme of the universe, created by my Lord, has room for such actions. Why has this allowance been made? But now, beyond this, many questions arise. In this, the correct lesson for humans here is to recognize their limits. I am a created being. It is not my place to interfere in the Creator's overall scheme. The Quran has beautifully clarified this in the story of Khidr. What happened there? We see that the things presented to us sometimes raise significant questions about God's overall scheme. These questions lift certain veils. The story makes it clear how the agents of divine decree, God's angels, operate behind the scenes. This was shown in dreams and wakefulness, which is a separate discussion. But Prophet Moses was told that the decisions being made in this universe are by its Creator. What hidden wisdom lies within them? Not all wisdom is revealed. Rather, a portion is unveiled to teach us to trust our Creator. All His decisions are based on wisdom. He is all-knowing and all-wise. He makes decisions based on His knowledge and wisdom. So, look at all three incidents. What happened outwardly? When the boat was damaged, a poor man's livelihood was destroyed. It was heartbreaking. At that moment, a question arises in the human mind. Why did this poor boatman, who earned his bread through this boat, have to suffer this loss? Why did his boat have to break and his livelihood be destroyed? This question arises, doesn't it? Look at it from an outward perspective. Why was this done? There was another wisdom behind it. If you question one wisdom, another will emerge. One after another, reasons and wisdoms will unfold. Till one point, the veil will be lifted. Questions inevitably arise in the human mind. Prophet Moses could not remain patient. Why was this done? Why did this happen? It shouldn't have happened, he may have thought. So, what is happening here? Prophet Moses became perplexed when he saw only a part of the overall scheme. He was told, "Now we will explain to you what is happening behind the scenes." Similar was the matter with that child. He was born to parents who loved him. From an outward perspective, imagine the grief when their only child was taken away. From our restricted perspective, big questions arise. In response to these questions, God revealed a facet of His wisdom and said, "This is how we see the matter." More questions arise about that. But the answer may not be given even though surely a reason exists for it as well. A similar situation exists in the third incident where the wall was repaired. So what are these three incidents doing? Are they presenting the entire wisdom of the universe to us? Number, they are lifting the veil from a part of God's overall scheme to teach us a specific lesson. And that lesson, as I expressed in 2 words, is to stay within your limits. Your task is to understand things from where the universe presents itself to you. What lies behind it? This is essentially encompassing God's knowledge and wisdom. This is not possible for you. What is the correct approach? It is to be grateful for whatever knowledge is granted and to seek more knowledge through the prayer, "My Lord, increase me in knowledge." This is the lesson given here. So, keeping both aspects in mind, we should try to understand what is happening in this universe. That is, on what principles are the decisions of the divine based. This is neither a matter of our perception, not of knowledge. These are not things that you or I can fully grasp. We cannot even fully comprehend the decisions and affairs of ordinary humans. The secrets behind the decisions of even the smallest kingdoms in the world are not fully understood. It is said, the secrets of the state are known only to the king. Why is this said? Because an ordinary person's perception raises 10 questions in our minds. We have seen with our own eyes that as soon as our politicians reach positions of power, their perspectives change. Their knowledge increases, and they see things from a different angle. The world appears differently to them. At this point, if you consider that the Muslim community has gone through a particular mental stress because they lost a great empire, their dominance in the world ended. As a result, compare the attitudes of their religious and political leadership, they think in completely different ways. In fact, contradictions appear everywhere. What is the reason? The reason is that where political leadership succeeds in seeing matters, religious leadership fails. We are told that to see this universe, one must sit in God's place. That is, think about what the past is, what the present is, what time is, what space is, what the beginning is, what the end is, and what lies ahead. If all this is placed before someone, perhaps they will strive. Then they might understand, to some extent, the wisdom behind God's decisions in this universe. But currently, the situation is such that the past is veiled. We do not have certain knowledge about it. The future is also veiled. No one knows how the news given will manifest, and many are not ready to accept it. So here is a small, limited mind before which this matter, this universe, and its decisions come. We begin our journey of knowledge from where it is made available to us by nature. The progress of science in the world has also happened by adhering to this principle. That is, human beings understood that the primary question is not why. The question why is the one you asked, and all the questions you ask under this heading fall under the same category. No, our matter begins with how, and after how, we place ourselves within the moral framework given to us and decide what our decision should be. So, in this world, if you look, the pain a woman goes through during childbirth can only be imagined. We have not even accepted it. Moving forward, we continue to ensure the survival of humanity. That is, each of us knows.
We are treating pains.
We are treating them, sure. Treating them is one thing, but each of us knows how painful these situations are. Yet we continue. We continue despite it. This means we have accepted it as a principle. Similarly, the matter of eating, drinking, dealing with the universe, breaking stones, eliminating harmful animals, clearing forests, all these things have their own wisdoms. If you look closely, such immediate wisdoms can be explained for everything. For example, we see animals tearing each other apart. If they were not eating meat, perhaps for centuries we would not have realized that meat is something to eat.
Very important point.
One aspect has become clear, but does this answer all the questions? No. So my summary is this: what should our approach be? If we correct our approach, no questions will arise, and the questions that do arise will be within our scope. If we do not correct our approach, we will bring harm upon ourselves. We will exceed our limits, and as a result, only depression will follow and nothing will be gained.
The point has become clear, and in an incredibly moving way, as a student for the first time, I understood how God deals with matters. The scholars of religion, with their intellect, wisdom, and insight, never have the ability to fully reveal the secrets of God's decisions. Even if they do, 10 more questions arise. We think we have explained any of God's actions, but 10 more questions emerge, and we end up in a realm beyond our knowledge. Well, Ghamidi Sahab, you have beautifully explained this as a principle, but someone might say that those who have accepted God, the Creator, and religion find this satisfactory, as they can say, we know the answers to these questions, the rest of the wisdom is beyond our knowledge. But those who do not believe will first ask, you claim that the secrets of the universe, which we could not comprehend, have been revealed to you. God chose a person revealed to him and answered these questions. Now, if we ask questions, you say to ask within the limits of your knowledge because we do not have all the answers. We only conveyed what was given to us.
Look, we never claim to have unveiled all the secrets of the universe. We only answered the question of who our Creator is. The prophets introduced the Creator. We did not create the Creator ourselves. We have only accepted the prophets' descriptions. It is not like philosophy and mysticism, where we assume what is beyond this universe and try to connect it logically. Philosophy and mysticism do this, but religion does not. What we have observed is the act of creation. We are being created, and many creatures like us are being created in this world. This is our observation. We have not received any external information yet. This is our observation. From this observation, our consciousness raises the question. If creation is happening, then there must be a creator. There will be those who will answer that the universe itself is our creator. This is the answer of atheism. But we may ask, what answers do they have for all these questions? If we suppose that the answers that religion provides are not going to be accepted, then does atheism have an answer to these questions? There are questions such as, what am I? Where did I come from? How did such a complex being come into existence? Okay, it exists. If we look at it in terms of influence and properties, how did this matter come into existence? Where did this knowledge and consciousness come from? This will raise a host of questions. When we saw this, we accepted the Prophet's message. And to accept it, we first rationally examined and tested the prophethood claims of the prophets. When we were satisfied, just as we are satisfied with scientists being experts in their field, we were satisfied that the prophets were not speaking on their own. They were giving us divine news. So, we compared this news with the act of creation. The correspondence satisfied us. It was established in a very extraordinary way. And our questions, which are necessary for our existence, our past, our present, and our future, were resolved. No religious person has ever claimed that all the secrets of the universe have been revealed to us. No, we have been taught that the unseen and the seen world belong to Him. Only a small part of the seen world is before us. We have started researching and investigating it only 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. And now we have learned many things. And we say many things based on the perspective of our limited knowledge. If you look from God's perspective or the universe's perspective, we have not even grasped a grain of knowledge. Therefore, the correct approach is what God's book has taught us. Make decisions within your limits, give verdicts within your limits, and be grateful for whatever knowledge is granted beyond your limits. And in this, there is also the promise, if you are grateful, I will increase you. And this increase includes the increase of knowledge. Thus, as soon as humans started from what was available, you see how much success science has achieved. And as soon as humans got entangled beyond this, you see how both philosophy and mysticism failed.
The point has become very clear, Ghamidi Sahab. This is a very important discussion, and there is much to understand in it. Knowledge is not just about knowing, it is also about realizing what we do not know. Maulana Islahi, in his commentary, also wrote that on the door of the temple of Athens it was written, O man, know thyself. Well, Ghamidi Sahab, let's move forward. It can also be said by those who criticize God that you have established the point that there is no moral objection because many millions slaughter animals daily, eat and drink, so there is no moral objection to it because it has manifested from their nature. They might say that it was your religious people who started this practice of slaughtering animals to please God, shedding their blood and killing them in this manner, and the rest of the world accepted it.
This contradicts their own narrative. They do not tell this story. They say that when humans opened their eyes, what was there to eat? Only tree leaves or some fruits, and then gradually they learned to hunt. They do not accept that any religious teaching was given. So there is no question about it. Now we will tell them that from the beginning, God has given humans consciousness, and where it manifested, God did not intervene. Look, regarding things that humans can learn from animals, what they can learn from the environment, no revelation has come from God. Only those things were revealed where humans could not decide on their own. And what God has placed in their nature can affect the outcome. Therefore, guidance was given within this framework. In such matters, the stories they tell about how humans invented things, if you delve into human history, it is absolutely correct. That is, in terms of knowledge, we are progressing from zero, gradually. However, in terms of guidance, it started with complete guidance from the beginning. After that, deviations occur. Then God sends prophets. Then they inform humans. So both matters are separate. What happens there? There it starts from the origin and deviations occur. Decline comes, corruption comes, deviation comes. And here, what happens? It starts from zero, and gradually, as a result of evolution, the paths of knowledge open up, and humans raise great questions for themselves. The history of both is completely different. In fact, the biggest mistake made in this matter by both atheism and modern science is that they equate the emergence of guidance with the emergence of knowledge. And many of our religious storytellers also make the same mistake by mixing the emergence of guidance with the emergence of knowledge. And as it happened in its complete form, they start imagining complete forms of knowledge in the past. This is not actually the case. God has adopted different methods for both. And see, there is great wisdom in both. Humans evolving their knowledge does not cause any harm. Rather, their abilities manifest. They learn on their own. They make discoveries for themselves. Then they look with pride at what they have achieved. And in matters of guidance, if they are left wandering for a few centuries and making mistakes, then they would be left completely in the dark. What right would God have then to hold them accountable? So here, it was necessary to tell them the correct thing from the first day, and there, it was the demand of wisdom to place them on the path of evolution.
The point has become very clear. Let's move forward. Well, Ghamidi Sahab, in the beginning of your principal discussion in about 20 minutes, there is a very important point that when humans try to interpret something beyond their knowledge, explain something, or solve something, what problems arise? God has created various species of animals on earth and there has been change and evolution. Today we find dinosaur skeletons, but they existed for a time and then disappeared. What was God's wisdom in eliminating them before a certain time? Whenever humans try to intervene in such matters, we have seen that they face problems. In one area, there were many parrots and they decided to eliminate them, but then insects proliferated. So, whenever humans interfere in the matters of nature, whether they believe in the universe as the creator or God as the creator, we have seen that they face consequences.
Ghamidi, and that is why I added that humans should base their knowledge and decisions on the present. That is, first, they should determine that these are existential realities. I have been created in this very world. I am starting from here. In the matter of the unseen, humans have not been given any knowledge. That is, it has not been placed within them. This knowledge has come through revelation and inspiration via the prophets. It will only come from there. Therefore, when this path is abandoned, then see what kind of decisions people have made. Look at philosophy, the kind of things it has said to understand the universe. Where are they today? They have all become stories of the past. In that sense, there are very important things that humans have thought about, and they have spurred thinking on these matters. But what has been achieved gradually, they had to reach the conclusion that no, we have to make the material universe our subject. That is, what can we make our subject? What is before us? Existential reality or matter which has manifested in this universe and in our own existence in the form of the body or the soul. There are only two things. So the lesson is that we have to start from here. As this lesson was learned, philosophy, which had struggled for 2000 years, more or less reached the conclusion. Just by changing the direction, much benefit was gained. Similarly, those who made illumination their subject, that is, they would seek to receive light from within, they would make efforts to enter into the soul and from there attain some enlightenment. Some knowledge did emerge from this. That knowledge is a very valuable asset for humans. Instead of limiting themselves to this knowledge, they went beyond and asked how perfect creation happened in this universe. How did this come into existence from non-existence? What is its place in God's knowledge or in God's essence? How is it related to the act of creation? In the same way, what is matter and what has it led to or become? Is it a manifestation or something else? What was the result? The result was that even in this matter, beyond the physical sciences, a fiction emerged. And when we read it repeatedly, it becomes clear that humans, by looking into their inner selves, reflect the philosophy and science of their time. And as a result, they create a narrative. Naturally, there is no greater illusion than this. If you ask what the sources for these are, humans are in no position to explain anything. This is what happens. Therefore, the correct approach is to start from where our knowledge begins. Our knowledge begins with our senses. Then, the intellect recognizes its necessary demands and draws conclusions. It is through this that humans achieve great successes. They can make it their knowledge, which we today call science. This is the most beneficial knowledge. It has given humans power and speed, and this is what Muslims were deprived of, which led to their decline. And what is the other thing? God has given us knowledge of the future, and we should suffice with the knowledge we gain from God's book. And for more knowledge, pray to God.
The point is clear, Ghamidi Sahab. In concluding, I want to address one issue, which is what is happening with animals in the universe. Animals are engaged in harming and killing each other, and on a very large scale, animals are being slaughtered for their use to obtain meat and goods from them. In the religious worldview, how does God uphold the sanctity of life, and how does He want to convey this to His followers? Ghamidi Sahab, as Muslims, it is forbidden for us to eat the meat of an animal if we do not slaughter it in the name of God and with His permission. Where religion has placed restrictions on certain acts, it has also imposed restrictions on humans regarding animals, saying that since life is present, even though all people do it, even though they do not have intellect, even though they do not have consciousness, but if you are to take a life, you must do so with the Creator's permission.
This is exactly the rule. And without taking God's name, we do not consider it permissible to kill an animal for our consumption. What is the wisdom behind this? We have clarified this from both perspectives. That is, life exists at whatever level it may be. Any action against it must reference God's permission. This purifies me. I am doing the same thing that a lion does when it attacks a deer. I am also attacking. That is, the poor goat or cow becomes helpless before me. A few people gather and slaughter it. Just as you may have seen in the jungle, animals attack a prey. More or less, the same thing happens. So, for my purification, I take God's name. I reference His permission, and in this way, I remind myself that if my Lord had not permitted it, I could not have taken this step. On the other hand, I am bound to maintain purity in all circumstances so that I remain aware that the world I will open my eyes to in the future will be a world of justice and purity. Its nature will change. Its laws will change. Its rules will not be the same. There, God's justice will be fully manifested, and His perfect attributes will also be fully manifested. Therefore, I must mentally prepare for it. In my opinion, if these two things are placed in their correct context, it creates the balanced thought that becomes the pride and asset of humanity.
Final question for Ghamidi Sahab in today's session. God and His prophets in their guidance inform humans that they are being tested in this world, not only in their interactions with other humans, in transactions, in dealings, in conversations, in everything, you must be just. Similarly, in your interactions with animals, there should not be even the slightest injustice. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has said that if you confine a dog and keep it unjustly imprisoned, your good deeds will decrease daily. A woman who mistreated a cat while feeding it was given tidings of hell, and a man who gave water to a thirsty dog was told by the Prophet that he would enter paradise. So, Ghamidi Sahab, our entire religion promotes good treatment, kindness, and care for animals, and it also prohibits keeping them confined without reason.
Without a doubt, this is a moral principle, isn't it? That is, it is my moral understanding. But if this is taken to the extreme that I will not benefit from this animal, I will not use it for plowing, I will not clear the land of trees, I will grow crops, then how is it possible to start harvesting crops in order to get wheat? So now, this would be a pathological mindset. The result would be that I would not benefit from this universe. I would not even have to close my mouth while breathing.
Because germs die from this.
And what would be the inevitable outcome? That I would depart from this world. So this is a correct and balanced approach that God's religion has established for humans, that beyond this boundary lies a world of wisdom. A small part of it is shown to you. For the rest, have trust, and we live with the hope that when we stand before our Lord, many of our questions will be answered.
The point has become very clear regarding the objections to the depiction of God in religious concepts, which were brought up for discussion with Ghamidi Sahab in today's third session of the series. God willing, we will bring the remaining questions under discussion. Our time is up for now. We will be back again. Thank you very much for your time.